Today, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments as to whether or not the nationwide injunctions that have been issued by 3 different district courts blocking President Trump's executive order banning birthright citizenship to illegal aliens is a proper way for those courts to rule in the case. And now, I was in the courtroom and heard the arguments and how the judges reacted. Now, the issue was narrowed only to the issue of the propriety of nationwide injunctions, not the underlying issue as to whether or not Trump's executive order is constitutional. That issue will be heard before the Supreme Court at some point in the next few months or so, maybe next fall. But the issue was limited only to the power of these courts. Sometimes they're called rogue judges, who are cherry picked by the plaintiffs. They're liberal judges to have the judge rule nationwide that the birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. Now, the Justice Department argued that no, you can't do that. You're abusing your powers as a judge. You should only allow your remedy or your injunction go only to the parties that brought the case before you and only in the district where you're located, not nationwide. The other side said, well, if we have to do that, then you're going to have a patchwork of rulings with respect to whether or not birthright citizenship is constitutional or not, President Trump's executive order. And the answer to that is, look, if you want to have your ruling apply nationwide, bring a class action suit. Class action suits are such that even if you bring it in one district court in, say, San Francisco or Boston, the ruling of that court will apply to everybody in the class. And if everybody in the class is the offspring of illegal citizens, that ruling would apply to them. So I think the court has had back and forth questions in terms of the practicality of nationwide injunctions. And keep in mind, they even had a problem with that when President Biden was president, and they had a conservative court in Texas issue a nationwide jurisdiction against Biden on his mandatory vaccine COVID policy, which was struck down. So it does work both ways, regardless of who's in the White House. So I think the conservative justices understood the argument that the proper way for these cases to percolate through the system, and that's a term that the courts use, percolation, let these cases percolate to the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will decide the issue once and for all, rather than have one judge, liberal or conservative, like it was during the Biden administration, issue a ruling applying nationwide. And I think the Justice Department position will be upheld by at least 5 of the justices, and the liberals will be opposed to it. Although, like I said, even they had problems with nationwide injunctions when it was applicable to President Biden. Because if you keep these nationwide injunctions in place, these district courts are in effect acting like the Supreme Court. As we know, the Supreme Court, whatever ruling it comes down with, applies to the whole country. And when you have these judges in various districts, come up with their ruling, in effect, they're acting like they are the Supreme Court. So we'll see how this plays out. I think we'll get a decision by this court by the end of June as to whether these nationwide jurisdictions are proper, and some point down the line, whether the whole executive order is constitutional or not.
Do you have a question for Kamenar? Just drop it in the comments and keep an eye out for Paul's answer right here.
To learn more about the NLPC's mission to investigate and expose government and corporate corruption, please visit nlpc.org.